What PS5 exclusives do PS5 owners actually have to look forward to? Let's get into everything announced so far. We're gonna start off with the PlayStation first-party titles, meaning games that will launch exclusively on PS5, and the closest of the bunch is Death Stranding 2 on the Beach. This is the sequel to Hideo Kojima's wildly original 2019 game. That is the continuation of the tale of Sam Porter Bridges. This one will see us connect both Mexico and Australia to the UCA. But it will ask the big questions, like whether we should have connected in the first place. And I'm sure there will be plenty of incredibly convoluted story here. That's not a dig. It's but what has interested me the most about Death Stranding is that it's taking big steps to improve its pacing, but also its gameplay experience over the first. For me, Death Stranding 1 was at its best when it let you loose in one of its open zones, and you started to use various vehicles and equipment to make your deliveries. Stranding 2 is not just diversifying its terrain, it's also expanding the year that you have, and supposedly how early you get it. Combat is also noted to be a big improvement from the previous. One of my favorite changes is that skills and leveling will basically improve, depending on how you play. So if you go for more off-track terrain, your stability will improve. For example, kind of reminds me of the leveling system in GTA 5. Or even like a Skyrim, suppose. This one's heading to PS5 on June 26, 2025. Next up, we have Ghost of Yo, the successor to 2020's Ghost of Tsushima. This has revealed itself to be an anthology series, meaning it's ditching its setting, time, period, and character from the first to jump hundreds of years ahead to the new setting of Yote. With the brand new protagonist of Atsu, we know the story. We'll see Atsuo hunting down a list of baddies, which is coincidentally very similar to Assassin's Creed Shadow storyline. However, if Tsushima is anything to go by, we're going to get a much more immersive world here. Not so much by what is in it, but how it's presented with a more colorful and exaggerated world. Graphically, Sucker Punch is supposedly aiming to improve its side content, which could get very repetitive in the original, so I'm keen to see how that actually takes form. Ghost of Utah is dropping on PS5 October to end 2025. Next up, we have Satos, the new game from Housemart, the team behind the lights of Resogun, Matterfall, and Retino. This is a new sci-fi IP set within the roguelike bullet hell genre. Once more, although it is said to be making some tweaks that allow for powerful upgrades and resources to remain permanent across your run, making each death valuable. Housemarque said it wants to evolve its deep third-person action and mysterious storytelling with this game. It stars Rahul Kohli of Midnight Mass as Arjun Devraj, a Sultari enforcer who's searching for the answers of the lost off-world colony of Carcosa. Return of storytelling was quite esoteric, in my opinion, with plenty of analysis and theorizing to be done if you really fancied it. Let's see if that's the case once more with Satos. We just have a cinematic to go off of right now, but we have been promised gameplay at some point in 2025, ahead of the game's release in 2026. Insomniac Games has been developing a power of games this generation, and it's not planning to stop, as we still have Marvel's Wolverine to look forward to. Officially, we don't know too much about the game, outside of it being a third-person action adventure. Well, it's easy to see the potential of Insomniac taking on another superhero game. After the brilliant Spider-Man series, Wolverine is a completely different bag. So a lot of how good the game could be will depend on how it nails combat, violence, and of course, this one was definitely revealed too early. We're coming up on 4 years since the game was revealed, and we have still yet to see any officially released gameplay. However, with Spider-Man 2 now behind Insomniac, I'm expecting to see or hear something about the game soon, hopefully. With that, we still don't have a release window for this, so it's a long-ass waiting game. Naughty Dog's next project is a brand new sci-fi IP called Intergalactic, the Heretic Prophet. Inspired by the likes of Cowboy Bebop, Intergalactic follows a bounty hunter, Jordan, who crash lands on the planet of Symphonia, a planet that's been cut off from the rest of the galaxy for more than 600 years. If Jordan has any chance of escape, she's going to have to figure out what happened on this planet. According to chats with director Neil Druckmann, the game has a big focus on religion and was actually inspired somehow by Elden Ring. hinting potentially a more open-ended experience than what we've seen in Naughty Dog's previous games. It looks like there may be a focus on melee combat, which will be a first for Naughty Dog, so I'm keen to see more of that. Oh, also Trent Reznor and Atticus Ross are scoring the game. These guys do not miss. The soundtrack is guaranteed to be a banger. The game has been in development since 2020, and although we don't have a concrete release window just yet, if I was a betting man, I'd say somewhere between 2026 and potentially slipping into 2027. Okay, we're moving into console exclusivity territory, meaning that these games will not appear on another console, like the Xbox or Nintendo Switch, just the PS5 console, but they will appear on PC. Lost Souls Aside is first up. A third-person action RPG, whereas Kaiser, you must face off against dimensional beings in the hope to save not just the soul of your sister, but the world. It's got some real flashy-looking combat, where with the different styles of weapons, you're able to build up devastating combos, even switching weapons on the fly mid-combo. It's got some real fantastical-looking worlds to really explore, leaning into that world-saving narrative. It's a real looker too, and for me, it feels like it kind of came out of nowhere. Thankfully, you won't need to wait too long for this one. It was delayed a little. But Lost Souls Aside will launch on PS5 and PC August 29, 2025, switching out one fantasy action RPG next for another. We have Ballad of Antaries. Set in a distant land, corrupted by a mysterious mist, you play as an emissary, a powerful entity that must seek towering creatures to retrieve the lost essence of the land. This one looks like a Souls-like, but more in the vein of Blacksmith Wukong, I suppose. As a different emissaries, you have different classes' gameplay capabilities, and of course, mysterious stories, which will take you across the multiple regions of its handcrafted world. Sounds like we're gonna get open areas, and it's different so it's zones. Not full-on open world, but what's really cool about it is that you can play the whole thing solo, a perfectly viable way to play the game. You have the option to play it with your friends in up to 3-player co-op. Ballad of Antaries is still just penciled in for 2025, so no specific release date, but you may be glad to know that it's a free-to-play game. Maybe you're not glad to, I don't know. It's kind of an interesting choice, considering the genre. Next up, we have the multiplayer project, Fair Games with a $ for an S. This game is being described as a competitive heist experience, where you can play as a modern-day Robin Hood, a thrill-seeker, or someone that just loves good loot. You'll be trespassing into forbidden locations, collecting a bunch of loot, and uncovering the nefarious plans of untouchable billionaires. What all of that means for the actual game, who's to say? It could be an extraction shooter, like I reckon. These nefarious plans to uncover may just be challenges within the game. Either way, it's being developed by the new developer Haven Studios. Although it's not been looking too peachy, with rumors of development troubles, potential delays, and just before the recording of this video, studio co-founder Jade Raymond has now left Haven Studios. Maybe this is another one we saw a bit too early, and it does mark another struggle in Sony's live service pursuits. We have heard not officially about this game in 2 years, and at this point, who's to say when we'll hear more? Where Winds Meet is a supposedly immersive and authentic open world, with realistic physical conditions, real consequences, and what it calls the interconnectedness of nature and society. A lot of big words, but here's hoping Where Winds Meet can back them up. It's certainly turning some heads with the gameplay it's released so far. Combat for one is daunting, the Chinese martial art of wushu. So that's your crouching tiger, hidden dragon kind of combat with big, exaggerated leaps and lightweight acrobatics. You'll be using spears, long swords, twin blades, broadswords, and even fans as you unlock unique techniques. The boss fights from the gameplay we've seen so far look with really plenty of mythical creatures and frenetic action. It's a huge looking game, and one you can expect on PS5 and PC in 2025. Interestingly, it's already out in China, but hopefully the rest of the world should have it soon. A little caveat to this, is that an Xbox port? Hasn't been entirely ruled out, but as of recording has yet to be confirmed. Weirdly enough, Where Winds Meet isn't the only upcoming wuxia action game, as we also have Phantom Blade Zero dropping on PS5 and PC in 2026. There's a big focus on free-flowing combat here, drawing inspirations from the likes of Bruce Lee films. Also some contemporary works like Michelle Yeoh in Everywhere All at Once and Donnie Yen in John Wick Chapter 4. But developer S Game is injecting some punk spirit to Dawn, what it calls Kung Fu Punk. This is supposedly a semi-open world game, so not quite on the scale of Where Winds Meet here. You play as Soul, an elite assassin serving the Order, but framed for the murder of one of its patriarchs and fatally injured in the process. You're then brought back to hell with the curse that gives you just 66 days to exact your revenge on those that wronged you. It certainly looks cool from what we've seen, so here's hoping it manages to deliver whenever it actually launches. Last up, we have Swords of the Sea, which you may be relieved to hear is not another Wish I game, but instead an emotional and gorgeous looking indie from the people that brought you Absu, the pathless and journey Swords of the Sea. We'll see you drifting across the sands of its enchanted, sun-baked world, uncovering skate park like ruins, an ancient sea that's buried beneath the land. You'll ride a sword that kind of controls like a snowboard, a skateboard, a hoverboard, catching airtime, powering across the sands at high speeds, and even shredding half-pipes. Just like Journey, it's telling a moving story through color, light music, and sparse dialogue, with Austin Wintory returning for the dynamic score. That's the guy that done the score for Journey. This one is marked to launch in 2025 at some point, so hopefully we'll hear about it soon. So there you have it. 5 Sony first-party exclusives and 6 console exclusives. Also launching on PC, which of these are you most looking forward to? Let me know down in the comments below. Remember to like and subscribe. That really does help us out. And until next time, and this has been Push Square.